Hello, Mark.
Hey Rick, how are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm glad you could make it.
I am too. I apologize for that. I'm
Oh,
telling you, uh, every day I think I wish I was like Rick Fletcher and retired. I'm
uh-huh.
actually, I'm actually working this weekend. I'm just like, oh,
Oh gosh. Oh wow. That's
yeah,
unusual, isn't it? Isn't it
it,
unusual to work on a weekend?
it is unusual. We've
Uh,
had the start of our academic year,
oh, that's right. Oh gosh. That's
and you know, everybody loves to think that you have one single integrated uh, enterprise system that handles everything you need. It just doesn't work that way.
yeah, yeah.
And so at the start of the year, I've got to pump, I got to find it. I got to find the data and, transform it, verify it, validate it, cleanse it, do all kinds of stuff, and then push it into about 3 or 4 other primary systems. Each, it has its own proprietary input format and so forth. So
Oh my
I'm
gosh. Oh
in
wow.
the middle of one of those, and whatever, it is what it is.
Uh-huh.
So anyhow, how the heck are you?
Yeah, yeah. I'm doing great. I got no complaints. Yeah. So I talked to Paul, and Paul said, that we should just talk about what happened. I guess he's a little bit leery, so of
That's fine. That's fine. I I was a little surprised that he didn't want to do it, but that's fine. I'll rag on him next time I'm in Colorado.
yeah. So I just remember, when you went to Mexico, to the pyramids, how both of us, and John, we were reminded back then of that lecture that Paul's dad did. And we went to Mexico in 1972. That's when John and I were living in Mexico for about three or 4 months together at one point. And uh, and then when you went there, and I love that your recollection, of that was your impetus of going there because that was on your bucket list. So,
Yep.
well, why don't you kind of start from there? What your memory was from that lecture and how that led you uh, to go see the pyramids.
Yeah, I'll do that. In the meantime, I want you to set me up so I can share my screen.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I got to tell you, first off, and with apologies to our dear friend Paul, but he had kind of a little bit of a strange family, and his father was a doctor. And one thing I remember about, I can't remember the exact number, but I believe there was something on the order of 7 or 8 kids in Paul's family, right? So this doctor and his wife managed to pop out, 7 or 8 kids,
Yeah.
at
Uh-huh.
least 6. I mean, it was an unusually large family. And his father bought an Austin Healey 3000. I don't know if you have any idea what that is. It is a
Is it a
little,
two-seater?
little tiny 2-seater British sports car.
Yeah.
And, it was just like, oh, huh?
Uh-huh.
But anyhow,
So I did allow multiple.
oh, good. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So in matter of fact, Rick, I never went to Mexico. Oh, wait a minute. I guess I did.
Oh yeah. Oh, hey, cool.
Take a
Uh-huh.
look at that.
Wow.
So when, all I can remember, I'm not even certain what year it would have been, whether, I was at Mariners only grade 4, 5, and 6, right? So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
had to be one of those. And I can't remember which, and it doesn't really matter. But I was so astounded when Paul's father, they held a, what do you call those things? You know,
Lecture.
well, of the whole school, an assembly.
Assembly. Yeah, school
Yeah.
assembly. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
And so they held this assembly, and Paul's father gave a slideshow of their trip, their summer trip to Mexico. And I had no idea, really. I think I had been to Tijuana once, and Tijuana in those days was just abysmal. I mean, it was poverty struck. It was so noticeable when you cross the border. It was just mind boggling. And so my impression of Mexico before seeing this slideshow of the Cohen family trip to Mexico was that, you know, the whole place was, you know, kind of like going to a garbage dump. I mean, it was, and he showed these fabulous photos of climbing on pyramids. I think they went to the Chichen Itza site, which unfortunately a drunk gringo fell from about a decade ago, so they don't allow you to climb up anymore. But I just remember in that slideshow being very amazed at a couple of things. One, that Mexico had pyramids and, you know, a rich history that I had up to that point had no knowledge of. And secondly, I was just so impressed that a family would take a vacation and explore such cool things like pyramids. You know, that just wasn't on my dad's flight path at all. I mean, you know, if he drove us up to LA, that was the big vacation, you know, even that was pretty rare. So I was so, just from that early childhood, I was just like, I am going to go to Mexico. I'm going to climb on a pyramid. And that stuck with me my entire life. And you would think, well, you know, eventually you'd forget about it. But here I was at what must have been about age 63 in 2017. And I finally made good on it. And I flew into Mexico City. The round trip ticket, I think it was only like $400 or less out of Oakland. And it was phenomenal. And there I was in the largest city in our hemisphere. And I was just astounded on so many levels. And I took one day to go to Teotihuacan, which is the pyramid site there. It's about, you might remember better than me, Rick. I'm going to call it, let's just say it's an hour to the north. And
hour to the north,
Mexico City. And I found a website that gave me very good instructions on how to get there super cheap on a public bus. And so I walked in, paid my entry fee, and spent most of the day walking around. And there was just so much to see. I can hardly put it into words. It was just astounding. And if you, so I'm going to go through my slides here a little bit, and then you feel free to chime in.
Okay. Isn't that, Mark, I'm still amazed. This technology, we don't even have anything like this today that in the 21st century that we built. Isn't that amazing? You know,
I was listening to a guy who comes from a ketogenic diet standpoint the other day, and he was making the point that the human brains, based on, you know, archaeological research, he said the human brains have shrunk 40% in the 10,000 years since we started eating primarily carbohydrates. And I was like, what?
Wow.
And if his theory is correct, you know, because really when you go back and look at history and the amazing contributions in architecture, literature, the arts of 6,000-8,000 years ago compared to today, you know, you have to wonder what the heck is wrong with us. And yes, you know, we have more knowledge and technology is ever moving forward. But when you look at what was accomplished centuries and centuries ago, you have to say these people may have been a lot smarter. And that coincides with another theory I have, which basically is the second law of thermodynamics, is that everything constantly is moving from order to disorder, from complexity to randomness.
Mhm.
And, you know, if you put a steel bar in your backyard and you come back 6 years later, it's going to be rusty and cruddy and ugly. And that's the second law of thermodynamics at work. And it actually could be occurring additionally on a genetic level.
Mhm.
The human genome may have started very strong and it may be getting weaker. But anyhow, I won't go into that too much further, but it is a point of incredible inquiry. How did they even build this? How were they capable? And I guess one other thing, having visited in the last 3 years, both this pyramid site and the Great Wall of China, you have to understand that there was, you know, we and especially me complain about, you know, slaving away for the IRS or slaving away for some government somewhere. I mean, just imagine the people that built this. I mean, they were in slavery for years to build this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So anyhow, okay, I'm going to see if I can navigate through some of the photos. So that's on the way up. You know, and I might use my mouse. Wait a minute. So obviously these are people, and this is red because they had some kind of special gating that was red. And on the way up, you know, they only allow so many to go up at a time until you get all the way up to the top. All right. And I'm on one of the tiers on my way up right there. And okay, and so this, I'm on the pyramid. I believe this is the pyramid of the sun. This is a pyramid of the moon. I may have those reversed. I'm getting a little foggy on my memory now. But
I think you're right on that, Mark. That's the pyramid of the sun that you're on. And that,
yeah,
yeah.
it was just, you know, and so pretty dang steep. But to, you know, just when you look at how small these people are, and you try to, you know, put in your brain, how could they ever have built something so vast?
Yeah.
This is a line of people lined up to go around, and of course, this site, I can't remember now. I'm going to say it had to be 20 or 30 acres of property area. Yeah, I think that's looking across at the pyramid of the. No, wait a minute. The pyramid of the sun is the larger one, and
That's a larger one. Yeah, yeah.
That's the one I'm on now, and we're looking over at the pyramid of the moon. I think that's what it is.
Pyramid of the sun is directly down the avenue, and the moon's on the either right hand or left hand side of it.
Okay, okay. So, okay, wait a minute. I guess, no, I didn't mean for these all to be pictures of me. I'm going to zip through these quickly because I have a number of other photos, I think, that include Mexico City. But you can get a sense of how high up.
Yeah, oh, yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
I mean, it was, and, you know, a lot of times people set out to do something, and when they go do it, they kind of like, well, okay, you know, that was nice, but it wasn't anything quite as great as my Uncle Joe told me it was, or whatever. But this, holy cow, it surpassed every expectation of mine. I was so glad I made this trip. Now, this is kind of cool. If you walk about, it can't be more than 15 minutes. It may be as little as 10 minutes out of the Teotihuacan official park area. There is this restaurant that is underground in a cave called La Gruta.
Oh, wow.
I've got photos of that coming up in a minute.
Okay.
These are in a somewhat random order, but yeah, there we go. That was my best photo, I felt. that I took. And
Yeah, that's a nice one. I like that. Yeah.
I passed my phone to somebody, and you know, I'm looking at this, I'm going, man, I remember I got kind of sunburned that day. It was intense sun. In fact, as I remember, this was Easter Sunday, and I chose to go on Easter Sunday thinking all the good Mexicans will be at their Catholic churches and, you know, with their families.
Yeah.
No, I was totally wrong. I mean, the place was overrun with people.
Yeah. Mark, I've never seen this crowd before.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and this little old lady was 101 years old, and she climbed to the top
Oh my gosh.
of the
Wow.
Pyramid of the Moon, the smaller one, which,
Uh,
as you can see, it's steeper and it's difficult and it's treacherous. And that dear little old lady at 101 made it up. I was like, "Are you serious?"
wow.
She was praying, thanking God for having made it up and down in one piece. Yeah, now I believe this is on top of the Pyramid of the Moon, and there were so many now. I'm kind of losing track, but
Yeah.
just phenomenal. I was just utterly enchanted. I can't wait to take my wife Gwen there. Okay, so this is in Mexico City. This is, I think, the largest Catholic cathedral. And okay. Oh, do you recognize that, Rick? You should.
Newport Beach. Yeah. Wow.
So what was I doing there? I had to be flying in or out of Orange County, I would assume.
And that was right near the boat and the whale. Right.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? This is in my Mexico folder, so oh, okay. You probably recognize this. This is a famous traffic circle.
Yeah, I know. I used to live about a couple blocks away from that.
Yeah, what they call this, the Zocalo, maybe, or?
Oh, I thought it was San Angel. I think.
Yeah, that probably Santa Angel, or yeah.
Yeah.
And
this is Multiplex Park, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
This is real close to where I was staying. You would think I would know. You probably recognize, this is a big central square in the middle of town, and it's real close to where that Catholic cathedral was. This is the Mexican military, and thank God, what a spiritually brilliant country. Their military plays music instead of dropping bombs on innocent people all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I thoroughly enjoyed that. Boy. Okay, so when you're traveling by yourself, I apologize. You do end up taking a lot of selfies. And I just wanted to document, you know, the fact that I had been there.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
This had been a dream since childhood to get up there and see this, or to get down there to Mexico and see it. Okay, I think I've made it through the...
Do you have that underground restaurant?
Yeah, you know, I must have that. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, so... Okay, stand by. You know what it may be? Oh, this was at that town square, and this was like a 10 to 15-minute walk from where I stayed. I did an Airbnb, and the lady that owned the unit really liked me. She was astounded that I was an American who wasn't, you know, cheering for Team Red, White, and Blue with all our military misadventures all over the world. That's that big cathedral again. That's the inside of it. I am embarrassing myself that I don't recall the name of it. Okay, I'm gonna.
Did you go to the Guadalupe? You know, that's where they got that famous shawl. You know, the Virgin Guadalupe.
I think I did.
Uh-huh.
This was the Museum of Teotihuacan. Okay, here's La Gruta. You know, I must have, and I'm sorry, I meant to have time to go through these so that I could logically.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Stand by. Oh, this is their New York subway system. And it tends to be on a central level. You probably traveled by this when you were there, didn't you, Rick?
Well, when I was there, they didn't have one yet.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
This thing was fabulous. And you know what? To ride this thing, seriously, it was like a nickel to go anywhere. I mean, you could go on it for 2 hours. And I think it was like a nickel. It was so cheap. And for my purposes, it was every bit as good as the New York subway system. And everybody, you know, when you're down there as a blonde or a blonde gringo, you know, the Mexican people are just so incredibly helpful to you always. I mean, they're just helpful to a fault. I found a raw food restaurant, and it was only like a 10-minute walk from where I was staying.
Oh, wow. Wow. Ooh, that looks good.
I met some interesting people. So maybe, did I go through? I don't know. That must be some famous building. Oh, Mac's store. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Secretary of Health office. Oh, yeah. There's that angel statue down 1 block down, and this is quite a big fountain downtown. You know, I don't think I can play a video over Zoom. I just kind of doubt it, but let's see what happens.
Yeah.
You tell me if it comes out at all.
Okay, I'm near the pyramid.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
That's the pyramid and the sun in the background. That's the pyramid of the moon.
You get a little breathless hiking up and down these pyramids.
Yeah, right.
Just the general beautiful valley.
That's a good one, Mark.
I'm glad it's coming through.
Yeah. Wow.
If I sound breathless, it's because I just climbed to the top of this, and we're above 5,000 feet.
Wow. Yeah, 5,000. No wonder you're panning too, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Here's the restaurant. Oh, this place was so cool.
Well, California and New York like to think they have some pretty cool restaurants, and indeed they do. But this place, La Gruta, is something different. It's a 2-hour wait, or I would try to get a table for one. Permission. This restaurant is in a cave.
Oh, wow. Wow. How cool. Whoa.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
Yeah. Wow.
Very cool, very cheap.
So next time I go, oh, here's my vegan restaurant I found.
Talk about a hole in the wall. I just ordered what I think will be a delicious meal at Vega Mall. What an unlikely place for a vegan restaurant. The menu is really great. Surprised that my hostess didn't tell me about this since she knew it was vegan, since she knew that I am a vegetarian and she also is. Okay, I made it to the top. That was a workout.
This was the Pyramid of the Moon.
And, huge
Okay.
step. You can see this place is still just with people today. There's the Pyramid of the Sun.
Those structures on the right, now in the center, that's where that other video was from. Oh, somebody was standing near me, breathing really hard.
Oh, Mark, this is incredible. You know, and unfortunately, I, on my travels, never took a camera. So I don't have, everything is all memory. So this is just, wow, so incredible to see.
Yeah, good. All right, I got one more video and then we'll call it good. And thank God that,
Or Buenos Aires to everybody. I'm just an hour's drive north of Mexico City at a historical site called Teotihuacan. There are two enormous pyramids here. One is behind me, the Pyramid of the Moon. I'll be climbing that shortly. And behind me now is the Pyramid of the Sun, which I was just at the top of. This has been a 53-year bucket list dream for me. Believe it or not, when I was 10 years old, I saw a slideshow at school of some Mexican pyramids, and I dreamt of doing this ever after. Shouldn't have taken me 53 years, but a lot of life got in the way. I highly recommend this if you have not been here. Mexico is on sale. I got a $300 round trip flight out of San Francisco Airport, and hotels are very inexpensive. The peso is down against the dollar, and Mexico is a truly magnificent country.
Wow, that was beautiful. Wow.
there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know, let's just call it that. That was incredible. That was absolutely wow. I give that an A+ for a presentation. You know, if I gave the presentation, I don't even have any pictures.
You know, I've got a real close buddy of mine in Sacramento. His name's Kim Berry. In fact,
I know who Kim is. I met him. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And Kim Berry does such a phenomenal job of taking photos, and everything goes to Facebook. And, you know, he married the sweetest gal. I love his wife. She's just a dear. And she was from the Philippines. And, you know, you can imagine, you know, how a Philippine family feels. You know, their daughter marries some guy from the US and off she goes, and they don't know how she's doing. But he has documented all their trips and everything so well. I mean, to me, he's got to be the best son-in-law in the universe. Point of comedy, his wife is substantially younger. And I asked him one time, I said, man, I said, your in-laws must love you. You know, you're just like the perfect son-in-law. You take great care of her. You know, she's got a good life now. She travels all around. They get to see photos. He goes, yeah. He said, it's kind of a strange relationship, though, because I'm older than they are. But anyway.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Rick, I got to tell you, you know, we love the United States. We love its history. We love its leadership in so many ways. And we love the tradition of individual liberty. But the United States is kind of earning a few black eyes. And I predict that there will be more gringos, that's people from the US. I predict that within another decade, there will be more gringos living in Mexico than we now have illegal Mexicans living in the US. Now, we have tens of millions of legal Mexicans living here, but I'm just saying, and the reason I say that is Mexico is a wonderful, peaceful country. And of course, the day the U.S. gives up on its drug war, it will be completely at peace again. And I've done a little looking into what it would mean to move to Mexico. And I think people that give it any consideration are somewhat inclined to go there. You can live at about 1/3 the cost, and it's not a police state. You know, I mean, if you keep a library book overdue by 3 days, you know, it's not going to crash your credit score. And,
Right.
you know, you're not going to end up in jail. You know, so there's many good things about Mexico. It's a phenomenal country. It also is topographically the most diverse country in our hemisphere. It has more natural,
everything, doesn't it? Oh yeah.
it has more natural beauty, varied terrain, deserts, mountains, valleys, lakes, rivers, oceans, beaches. It offers so much. So I personally feel that Mexico may be in my future. Some part of my future certainly will be back in Mexico. I love the Mexican people. They're warm. I'll say one other thing. You know how it is when you travel. Sometimes, you know, you're just out of your ordinary routine and element, right?
Right.
You're not going to your familiar grocery store. You're not going to your familiar restaurants. You're not driving in your familiar automobile. Everything is different to you. And so sometimes you goof up or make little mistakes and they turn into big troubles. So, you know, for some crazy reason, I have a few relatives and friends who think that, you know, Mexico is populated with nothing but banditos. One day, and I don't think it was the day I went to the pyramid, but I was taking a bus somewhere, a city bus. And somebody had told me probably better to not rent a car. You know, you can rent a taxi pretty cheap or you can take a bus pretty cheap. But driving a car there, different laws, you know, you're not going to have time to really get up to speed on. And so I didn't rent a car. And I was waiting for a bus, talking with people, you know, having a good time, probably had a 10, 15-minute wait. Then I walked up on the bus. I had left, without knowing it, a tablet computer on the bench, right? So right before the bus drives off, I'm sitting and I hear a bang, bang, bang on the window next to me. And this guy hands me my tablet computer. I mean, he could have stolen it. You know, but no. Then another time, I had taken a bus somewhere, you know, and this was in Mexico City, right? This big, horrible, terrible, terrifying city. I was riding a bus, and it was I was a little unaware, but I suddenly saw my stop, you know, so I pull the cable. The bus driver pulls over, and I go. Well, out of my element, not doing everything I should have. Apparently, I left just a paper tablet of some notes on my seat. So I'm walking, you know, at a pretty fast clip back towards my Airbnb where I was staying. And I'd walked a couple of blocks, and all of a sudden I heard this horn. Wah, wah, wah. And I'm like, well, what is going on? I turned, and it was a bus. They had turned off their course so that somebody could hand me the tablet that I left.
Oh my God! Whoa.
You know, in our country, you know, the bus driver would have been fired for deviating from his route. But in Mexico, they have such kindness and regard for people. It was. I was just like, this is surreal. So,
And that's my stories from Mexico. When I lived there, wow, you know, I met so many wonderful, kind, you know, considerate people. You know, it was amazing.
you worked for a while at a bakery or something? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah. I was making like European and American style bakery goods. I made stuff like baklava, brownies, stuff like that. So, and another person made like sourdough and white rye bread and stuff like that. So it was something that the Mexicans didn't see. So that they loved it. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. That's great. And John was with you?
Yeah, John was in there for just a part. I was there for 2 years, and John was there for about 3 months.
Oh, okay. Wow, 2 years in Mexico City. What years were you there?
1973 to 75.
Wow, where the hell was I? 73 to 75. Actually, I was living in Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa, okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Newly married at that time to my wife, Kathy. And no, let's see, wait a minute, 73. No, by 74, I was in the military. Yeah. And part of my time in the military, then I was even further south than you. I was down in Panama.
Panama. Oh, yeah, that's your infamous Panama stories.
Right. And as much as I rag on the military, and I do, listen, the military, for national defense purposes, the extremely small amount of national defense that this nation even needs, this island nation even needs, it's justified. My argument with the military is with its mission of being the, bully to the entire planet. But I spent probably a total of nearly a year at the Defense Language Institute in Monterey learning Spanish, which was wonderful. The greatest thing I did while I was in the military. It was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah.
And then to have temporary duty in the Republic of Panama on a couple occasions, it was fabulous. And then I had a time in South Florida where you also lived. You were in Miami. I would have been working mostly out of Homestead, Florida.
Oh, I know Homestead. It tells me about 45 minutes away. Yeah, so.
Right. So there was an Air Force base there, and then there was a Naval Air Station at Key West. And I worked out of the two of those. And, basically all we did was fly in airplanes and try to listen to Cuban military radio nets, which was kind of fun. And so my introduction to Latin America, was first and foremost, I think I was like age 4 or 5. My dad drove us into Tijuana, and I literally got sick to my stomach looking at the poverty and the way that people lived. I was a sweet little innocent privileged white boy from Newport Beach, and to be in Tijuana, I was just, I could hardly stomach it. Then I had my time in the military learning about Latin American cultures. So one of my official job titles was Latin American Intelligence Analyst. And I got to take a ton of classes on all the different countries in Latin America.
Oh, wow.
Understood many of them. So that, perked up my interest. Then I had time in Central America, officially with the military working for the NSA. And so for many years, I just feel comfortable. A buddy of mine that went to high school with me in Hawaii now lives in northeastern Argentina.
Around Mendoza area? That's where they're.
No, he is close. I'm going to say an hour south of a major city there. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Salta.
Oh, Salta. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I may be able to recall the name of the Cafayete. That's where he is.
Okay.
A little town called Cafayete. And he and another guy that I know both live in Cafayete, and they just think it is the best place in the world to live right now, which, that's pretty amazing. One of the guys bought up some acreage and is growing grapes and has a wine business, Bad Brothers Winery or something.
Oh, yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
yeah.
I remember in high school, we had Argentine exchange students.
Eduardo.
Eduardo was from Ecuador. Yeah,
Eduardo Pena.
What's that?
Eduardo Pena.
Eduardo Pena. Yeah, he died. You know that about 20 years ago. Yeah.
You told me that. I was so distraught to hear that. He was such a kind guy.
Wasn't he? Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's so strange that he would have passed away early. What did he end up doing professionally?
He was a banker. Yeah,
Okay.
he got involved in the banking industry. He had a brother named Juan who was younger who became a medical doctor. Yeah.
Did he marry and have a family or?
Yeah, Eduardo had 2 kids. You know, I met them. They came to Florida when I worked for the Miami Beach Police.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so out of nowhere, I guess he gets a hold of my mom, and my mom, gave me my telephone number. So he came about a couple of months later. So that was real nice.
That's
got to meet them. Oh gosh, yeah, that was incredible. Yeah.
That is fantastic.
And that was in 1985. That's the last time I called him when I was in Hawaii. This is about 20 years ago. I found my old telephone book and I had Eduardo's number. So I called. They didn't speak English, so I spoke Spanish, and they said Eduardo died. But I thought it was Eduardo Senior because it was Eduardo Senior.
Sure.
But then fast forward another 15 years, I finally got hold of Juan Diego, his brother, and he told me, no, in fact, that wasn't Eduardo. He got cancer and died within 3 months as soon as they found out about it. Yeah, I'm not sure what it was, but it just, yeah.
Oh, that's such a shame. Yeah, I loved Eduardo. He was such a cool guy.
Yeah.
Hey, one other thing I'll mention about Mexico. So the last time I was in Mexico was a full 6 weeks ago. And I made my second trip into Tijuana for dental work. And Gwen and I have found this concierge homeopathic dental clinic in Tijuana that is wonderful. They pick you up at the San Diego airport. They drive you to their dental office. Their offices are in the ground floor of a high-rise, beautiful, 5-star hotel building. If you need multiple days of treatment, they book you a room at the hotel. I mean, this is a really nice hotel.
Wow.
And they offer things, treatments that are illegal in the United States, and they're illegal for reasons that range from conspiracy to, just the stupidity of our FDA and our American Dental Association. But this clinic follows a protocol called the Hal Huggins Protocol for Dentistry, which is one of the least evasive, most compatible dental type protocols ever developed. And several things occurred to me when I was there in Tijuana. You can live in Tijuana for roughly 1/3 the cost of living in the United States. Just the dental care is medical 1/3, food 1/3, apartments 1/3. And while I was there, I saw an article in a San Diego paper, and it was talking about the tens of thousands of San Diego area workers who can't afford an apartment, which a studio apartment in San Diego is $2,000 and some odd dollars a month. So they rent for like $400 a month in Tijuana.
Oh, okay.
And there's a way, and on the way into Mexico, you just drive in. I mean, you're driving in at 40 miles an hour. Boom, you're in the city.
Yeah.
And you're saving, let's say $1,600 a month on your rent. You get better tacos, and you got to drive, an extra 15 minutes to get home at night. So who cares?
Mhm.
And so when I was there, Gwen and I walked around and we found really nice restaurants, hair salons, services, anything you want at really low prices. The weather in Tijuana is wonderful. I mean, it's just as good as
Yeah,
San
yeah,
Diego.
California, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And for a gringo to live there cheap, you can drive over the border any day of the week, if you need to go do something in San Diego or
Mhm.
buy something you couldn't find. I was thinking, it would be, and so Tijuana is growing. What are those, when the big city has a high amount of growth, they have all those cranes,
Oh,
you
yeah,
see
yeah, yeah, yeah.
high-rise buildings. What do they call them? A grasshopper or whatever.
Yeah.
But what amused me was this last time, in Tijuana, there were high-rise buildings going up so fast you could hardly believe it. The cranes were everywhere. And there was nothing in San Diego. Nothing.
Wow,
So
wow,
the
wow.
Tijuana economy is growing leaps
Uh-huh.
and bounds. The previous time we went down, I drove in, there was a high-rise building and it had this huge banner on it. It said, "The future of medical tourism." So that is how Tijuana is reviving itself, is they are providing low-cost, excellent medical services, some of which aren't even allowed in our country. Now, when we had our dental work, they everybody immediately goes on an intravenous vitamin C tap, because they know that if you get a high amount of vitamin C, you're basically immune to any infection or whatever. This is a treatment protocol that every dentist in our country should do, but they don't. But down there, they do it.
So Mark, for preventive medicine, I've been kind of interested. I think the only weak part in my body has always been my teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, I've always passed with flying colors. But I have had root canal. No, one root canal, but I've had crowns, which I totally disgust. But what's the latest? Have you seen? Is there any almost like 99% preventative measures that you can take when you're a kid that you can utilize? That, because brushing your teeth, I don't know. The electric. I use everything. Electric toothbrushes. I use the floss. I have the water pick, and still it does not take away all the plaque. So yeah, imagine this is we're 2020, and still we're having the same major problems since we had since growing up in the 50s.
So here I have a few thoughts on it, and a lot of ignorance as well, like anyone else. We were told when we were young, don't eat a lot of candy or sugar, it's bad for your teeth. Well, I took that to mean that, while you're sucking on a sucker, those sugars, are going to be bad for your teeth, which, the enamel of your teeth, which I'm sure to some small degree is correct. However, the real reason you don't want to eat sugar is nutritional. Your body needs the right nutrition to have healthy teeth. And a huge amount of calories from carbohydrates and sugars are not what your teeth need. So if I were raising a child now and I wanted to give them the best possible dental health, I would ensure that they eat lots of healthier foods. And by that, I mean,
what, fruits, vegetables, stuff like that, huh?
Yeah. And probably even fewer fruits, more vegetables, and then some really high quality grass-fed, maybe different meats, a lot of which aren't even available in the United States, or you really have to do your due diligence to find.
And also, they said the flora in your intestine is super important.
Yep.
I heard if your floor is a little off, it can your teeth can decay because of that.
That's a very good point. One supplement that I've heard a lot of people recommend for people suffering dental trouble is fermented cod liver oil.
Oh, wow. Okay. Huh.
And I've taken that increasingly. Yeah, but I will say this, it's possible. It's possible. There are some leading edge people, mostly in Europe, a few in this country, doing real leading edge dental research, including replacement of, or what I want to say, regrowing of teeth. Some of that may involve stem cell therapy. By the way, this clinic I went to, they do stem cell therapy. They have hyperbaric chambers. They have just all kinds of leading edge health protocols, and they're available at, at such cheap prices. So I have to go back in around November, and I actually think I'm going to go on Thanksgiving, on my Thanksgiving holiday, because my guess is they won't have very many patients that day, and it's not a Mexican holiday, so they'd be working. And they have all these different elective treatments. I wonder if I have a printout convenient. No, I don't think I do at the moment, but different intravenous things they can give you. And I think maybe one of the reasons that Gwen and I have had absolutely zero problem with this coronavirus is we've got pumps so full of vitamin C and different things. So, and with the amount of work I had done, it was so worth it. I mean, we got a $49 airfare from Oakland to San Diego. The dental clinic picks us up. We check into our hotel. We go for our initial day of treatment, and then I had some serious dental surgery starting my second day there. And it was kind of funny. I don't know if you're familiar with those pre-tax medical plans. I know. Your employer takes, I think it's up to $2,700 per year out of your pay on a pre-tax basis, and then you can spend it on dental. So the end of our fiscal year was June 30th. So I went that week where the 30th was a Tuesday, I think. So I had part of my treatment to use up my remaining 2019 $2,700. And then the next year, I could apply starting on the Wednesday of that week.
Oh my gosh!
So we built it out that way. I had now and the work I had done, I had two California dentists bid it. One bid it at $32,000, the other bid it at $35,000. Mexico did it for $5,400.
Oh my God! Wow.
And it cost me zero out of pocket because I just was able to they broke the bill up for me and charged me so much for 2019, so much for 2020. Boom. So I've been just completely thrilled with the work they did, and Gwen has been extremely happy. We will probably, as long as we continue to live in the United States, we will probably go there for our dental, go there twice a year,
Wow.
Yeah. Anyhow.
All right. Yeah. Hey, perfect timing. Yeah. Both of us said, all right. Yeah.
Rick, always great to talk with you.
Yeah. Likewise. And thanks for bringing back. Those are incredible videos and pictures. And job well done.
All right. Yeah, you're going to post to Facebook?
Yep, I'm going to post to Facebook. Yep.
Yep. Link me in, my friend.
Talk Story with Mark Blackburn, Part 2.
Okay. All right. And hopefully we'll loop Paul Cohen in one day and say, you should have joined us.
Yeah. All right. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Give my love to your wife. Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Likewise, Rick. Bye-bye.
Bye.